Okay, welcome everyone, and thank you for joining us today to discuss how we can identify and develop the right use cases for agentic AI. And just yesterday, I read an article from McKinsey about AI in workplace and how to empower the users to unlock the full potential of artificial intelligence. On about 20% of enterprise AI use cases lead to expected outcomes. And the common factor of the successful ones is a clear, well-defined use case tied to the user's goals and outcomes. And that's what I would like to discuss today in our webinar, how to identify and understand the right operational pain points, design the real outcomes for the agentic AI use cases, describe the use cases in ServiceNow, and align them to your goals. I'm Kostya, your host for this session, and I'm joined by two fantastic guests who bring vision and the execution to the table. I have Mel from Strat5, who is accelerating digital transformation and business outcomes with AI, and Luke from SQL Consultancy, an implementation partner for enterprise service management, customer service management, and CM. Mel, let's start with you. Could you please tell us a bit more about you and your focus at Strat5?
Yeah, sure. Hi, Kostya. Hi, Luke. Hi, everybody. So I'm Managing Director of Strat5. I'm Melhem, or short Mel, and I'm in the ServiceNow business since quite a long time. I'm ServiceNow certified master architect and enterprise architect, and we are looking since a couple of years how AI can raise the efficiency of business processes, and especially I'm really keen on talking about agentic AI, which is a new motion since a short time.
Thank you, Mel. And Luke, over to you.
Yeah, thank you, Kostya. I'm Luke. I'm a senior technical consultant of ServiceNow, and we're doing a lot of implementations of the ServiceNow platform with a customer management and ITSM. And from that, we always like to automate. And with coming AI, and especially agentic AI, is a really valuable product on the ServiceNow platform. So yes, we want to be on that train, of course. And we are.
So before we dive deeper, I'd like to make sure that we are on the same page, because depending on who you ask, it could mean anything from a smarter chatbot to a fully autonomous digital agent that connects different systems and applications. Mel, what's your perspective? How do you define agentic AI, and how it's different from a typical automation or chatbots?
Yeah, that's a very good question. So actually, where we started since many, many years is to define deterministic workflows, where we already know when one thing is happening. Maybe we have a branch and we know, okay, depending on yes or no of the first question, we go left or right. So we have a workflow and are automating things. And with agentic AI, it gets much more exciting, because I would compare it to when I do my homework. There would be an agent where I just tell this agent, please do my homework. That means actually there is an agent gathering the information, what is my homework for today, from my teacher. There is another agent maybe doing some research, depending on the first answer. What is my homework? It's doing a research and checking for geography, for example. And then there is a third agent putting together a nice document to then complete my homework. And that's using a lot of different AI technologies, like we know it all from machine learning, where we know this is a dog or a cat, after training with 30,000 pictures of dogs and cats. It's using a lot of the new Gen AI technologies, where we can produce documents and have natural language understanding of my questions, but combining this into one piece of an agent where I just provide a goal and I get the result. And this is very exciting, and not only for doing your homework, but probably also for doing your business.
Okay, that means that a platform should be able to support this kind of integrations, connecting to different systems, but also having all the data that is required. This is more way beyond the typical ChatGPT use case.
Correct, exactly. Yeah, you need to have these integrations. You need to get data maybe from other systems or look into the other systems. You have to have the capabilities to work with the classic large language models to get then data or documents language generated. And you have to store the data and have the capability of assigning maybe tasks even to human beings to complete some intermediate steps in your workflow. So a lot of exciting technologies combined into one.
Mhm. Understands. And look, from an architectural implementation point of view, does ServiceNow actually already support these autonomous agents today? And if so, how?
Yeah, it's just like Mel said, it's important for all those I would call it steps, all those AI steps he discussed with the homeworks example. All those data needs to come from somewhere. So you need to have access to all that data. And that is a nice thing at this moment within the ServiceNow platform is that a lot of those information is already there. But what is new is that they now can connect to other databases, other systems without pulling all that data into the ServiceNow platform, but just by talking to other systems. And that makes also the architectural part of this platform even stronger because you don't need to have all security layers on top of it or that kind of stuff because the data is still on the source tables within other applications. But with that being said, it's of course it's important that we are having control about those AIs. So that's now maybe a different story, but it's important that ServiceNow has the capabilities of controlling all those things. So we know what an AI is doing, where the data is coming from, and that is really important, especially when implementing a lot of our customers. You also know that is that they need to have control on the data. And everything is visible on the platform, and that makes it strong and even stronger than before. So that is one of the key parts of this platform.
Mhm. Yeah, all right. So that means that the agentic AI is not actually a bit smarter workflow. It's more about being autonomous. So all the agents are autonomous part of the platform. They understand the context and they are closely aligned to the outcomes of this kind of automation.
Yeah, yeah, that's one of the biggest differences between yeah, Gen AI, where it's really becoming of creating documentations. You say, well, let's start this and then generate it, like we know from ChatGPT or Copilot and other systems. This is really bringing us to a next level with Agentic AI. He can really run autonomous,
Mhm.
fill in the decisions, what to do when, and then it can run totally, well, to be honest, like a human being.
But yeah, but probably not every process is ready for that. Means you cannot just grab any part of the process or workflow and build AI agents around that. Mel, what do you think from your perspective? What are the two, three signs that a process is good candidate for a agentic AI use case?
Yeah, it's actually what we are looking at currently now is where can human beings be supported in executing a process. So if you have, for example, many topics we are looking at now is where needs information to be gathered, where you need to do a research to continue your work. So let's get a customer support case in. And for this customer support case, you need to look into two or three different other systems currently manually log into these systems and look up some data, which easily can be done by an AI agent doing this research for you and putting the result into that customer support case even before it's assigned to a human agent. That's very typical, typical use cases we are looking at currently. And also imagine you need to then have the output registered in other systems. Then you could hand over that case to an AI agent, and the AI agent will decide in which systems do I need to put which information, because maybe depending on the country your client is coming from, you have to put it in different other systems. So these are parts of automations where we can use dedicated AI agent for a certain topic. So it's always about having a certain use case and then a topic identified which one agent can handle based on an input and giving a goal. So it's not necessarily that you have to have the whole process done in one agent. You can split it into multiple ones. But these examples, these are probably the two best ones we find at the moment and can implement.
Okay, thank you. And do you maybe have an example for a poor use case? So for a use case that doesn't really fit into the service management area?
Yeah, so everything what is actually a deterministic workflow, it's much easier to be implemented in a classic workflow. It's, for example, like an order process where you are having all the 5 steps always in the same order, and you don't need any big decisions in between or any intelligence where you go left or right. That's a typical case where you can use the standard flows and automations much easier, and you don't need to equip any AI agent into that.
Okay, thanks. And Luke, can you explain a bit how you built one of those agentic AI use cases in ServiceNow?
Yes, I can. Well, to be honest, it's pretty easy. And that's always from my side. I always say it's pretty easy, but in this case, it's true. Because what it makes so incredible to do this on the ServiceNow platform is that you already have a starting point. There are already some out-of-the-box implemented Gen AI's capabilities and agentic AI capabilities. And within ServiceNow, they're all called Now Assist. So I will call it Now Assist from now on. Those Now Assist functionalities are already installed and you can use them. What makes it easy is that it will bring a lot of out-of-the-box capabilities. It's called skills. And we can implement new skills, but we can also reuse the existing skills. So what we do is we make some, I would say, small Lego blocks, for example, and with those Lego blocks we will build a new building, for example, and that makes it so strong. So what we do is, well, when we start, we are going to look at normally to the total workflow, just like Mel already said, and then we can pick up a part for it, which we say, well, for that thing we can use AI. Let's develop the skill if necessary, or we reuse an existing skill. Then, if we have that skill available, then we will link that to the agentic AI. What is most interesting is that how are we going to develop that AI? It really sounds technical. Right? I'm a technical guy, and I always thought, well, that will be a lot of code. So until ServiceNow implemented it, and I took a look at it, and then well, I don't need much technical skills. I just need to really know what I want to have. That is the most important thing. So know your process, know your capabilities. What do you want? What is the outcome? And then you can just type that in, and ServiceNow will generate, with the help of AI, the right skill set. And then you can use that skill set within flows, within buttons, just where you want it. And that makes it really strong that you can have process and knowledge of the environment is the most important thing you need to develop those AI functionalities.
Okay, sounds really interesting. Let me summarize a bit. So we know that there is a demand for AI use cases. ServiceNow has solid AI capabilities, and the platform provides all relevant data services, security, etc. When you go to actually build this agent inside ServiceNow, you have the logic, you have the security, the governance, everything in one place. Um, Look, can you maybe elaborate a bit more? What kind of data ServiceNow provides? What kind of business logic, where you would, what you would use as those building blocks in your AI use cases?
Yes, it's always a little bit depending on the use case, of course. But what I always think it start well. To be honest, I think maybe you're a little changing your question, but when do you start your AI building? And what can you use to say, well, that's a good use case for me, or that's a good use case for someone else? Is just looking at your workflows you already have. Look at the actions your people already do. Which process do you have? And then take out that process and look at what takes time, and then take that from it. Look at which data do we need. Normally, you have all the data already available in your system or somewhere which you have connected. Then you can grab that information. You have all the actions you already know because your people are already doing that for maybe 10, 20 times a day. And then you can say, well, let's do this by automated with then Agentic AI. Then you can put that in. You can make the right skills for that. And then you can use that to make it better, to make it smarter. That's just one step. So we still have a workflow with 5 steps in it, and we only automated one with Agentic AI. The next step is let's look at all the other steps. And at the end, you can have an end-to-end solution for your problem. For example, always like that. With compliance, there are always a lot of things you need to do, checking, creating. So for example, you've got a list of vulnerabilities, and you just want to know, well, is this part of the Microsoft Patch Tuesday, or is it something else? Well, then you can create an agent for that just to check, and he can mark everything what is depending on the Microsoft system. Because, well, we already know that we are going to solve it within a couple of minutes after Microsoft has released that. And that kind of stuff, you can make it really smart. So no one has to look at it. You can generate reports on that. That makes it really powerful. Is that an answer on your question, Ossia?
Yeah, definitely. And this leads to another question, actually, that I can imagine that even having all the services, workloads, and data in one platform, the platform itself or parts of these processes or data is not really ready for agentic AI. And Mel, maybe you can elaborate a bit how the relevant stakeholders of the platform, like a platform owner or CIO, make sure that the environment is ready for agentic AI. I mean, do they need to run any assessments or setting the frameworks or communicating across the stakeholders to prepare such use cases? So how to make sure that you can start building such AI use cases?
Yeah, so actually our recommendation is to before you start building the use cases to set the guardrails, because you can imagine if you start building intelligent AI agents reacting on some input from other agents, that can quickly get out of hand. So actually there is a requirement for platform owners to build something like a control tower, an AI agent control tower, and also look carefully into two other aspects, which is one is the data security. So which data are you exposing to which maybe other third party? Because it's easy to build an integration and get data out or involve an external large language model, but is it probably company specific or secure data you're exposing? So you should look at which data is really sent out to external parties, and not to forget about the cost of using these LLMs, because yeah, there is either internal resources being consumed because you have maybe an NVIDIA infrastructure in-house, which some German banks already have. Then you have internal resource cost, but you could also have external resource cost if people start building AI agent asking external APIs. So these are maybe the most important topics in such an AI control tower. And as always, the EU is coming up with the EU AI Act. So you also have to look into some compliance issues which might come up. So as a platform owner, Costa, I would strongly recommend to look at that guardrails before opening up that free implementation of use cases.
Thank you. Okay, to summarize, we've talked about the agentic AI, how to design the good use cases, and how it fits in the ServiceNow architecture. But I know from the real world, there are projects that often take quite unexpected turns. Some implementations scale very well, some fail at some point of time. So I would like to understand the factors of successful and maybe less successful implementations. So Mel, you worked a lot in such areas. In your experience, what are the top reasons for the projects that succeed or fail? And are there any patterns at all?
Yeah, maybe what I can see is that we had recently an analysis for a project where a lot of input data was derived from documents sent into the ServiceNow platform, and then it was very hard to find next steps out of these documents. They were not too structured. And this is typically something where we don't find good AI or even AI agent use cases. The steps always succeeded is where you have information gathering, an agent doing some research, either in internal knowledge bases, in the IT infrastructure, in your customer service repositories, and then delivering results and helping human beings. So you're reusing information, you're reusing steps you already have implemented, and that's typically quick success because the turnaround time for service management is reduced, and yeah, that's typically what we see.
Thank you. And Luke, maybe from your end, from delivery and architecture side, what's the one thing you wish every project or platform architect actually knew before kicking off such kind of projects?
Yes. Well, I learned it from a couple of companies which are using AI at the moment, and I talked to them, and they said, "Well, yes, we wanted to have a full-blown AI agent running for us, and they all failed, to be honest. Why? Is that they just wanted to make two big steps. You don't can you can't change your way of working from one at the other moment. And that is really important, is that when you start with agentic AI, make it small. Make small steps. It will have value for your employees immediately, for your customers also immediately, because all steps are just being automated and straight away can be done. It's a little bit of what Mel said, all the data gathering. It will be nice if you have an end-to-end process for that. But what if you just focus on those small steps, just gathering the data and have the right value out of that data? That's a small step in a total workflow, and that makes it interesting. So what I always recommend is make it small. Make small steps of doing things within your process and in your workflow. And I think a lot of companies already learned that the hard way. So if I am at the customer and talking about this is always my advice. Start small and make that then bigger and bigger, and then everything will be fine at the end.
Thank you, Luke. All right, so we looked at the Agentic AI, what makes it work, how to architect, how to design them, and what can potentially go wrong. But ideally, we can turn all these insights into the hands-on experience. And we will organize a one-day and expert-led hackathon where different teams will design and prototype the real Agent AI on the ServiceNow platform. It will take place on July 10th, and every participant will be able to bring own ideas. We will build them all together and compete um, actually each against other. The hackathon will take place in The Hague and in Munich. The teams will build all the use cases, and at the end there will be only one winner. Mel and Luke will also be during the hackathon and support the teams. Mel, you also organize the meetups quite regularly in the ServiceNow space and participated in the ServiceNow Creator Cons in the past. Maybe you can give some reasons why people should attend this kind of hackathon.
Yeah, sure. So actually, main reason is it's really fun. So there will be multiple teams in Munich competing against multiple teams in The Hague in the Netherlands. So like in football, we already know where the winner will come from. In such a team, the exciting thing is you have maybe technical resources, technical colleagues. You have more the business analysts. You have somebody preparing a presentation about your AI agent. And it's really exciting to have that built in a team and really have hands-on one of the use cases built in the platform directly. So you have a real result out of the day. So that will be main reason is fun and winning Germany against Netherlands.
Luke, do you accept the challenge?
Well, no, to be honest, it's not really a challenge, of course, of winning of Mel and his team in Germany because, well, in the Netherlands we always will win at the end. The Orange Army will be there, of course. But no, it's just really fun to do this in this way. A little bit of competition. I always like that. I like to win, and but you can really do every steps within creating Gen AI. A lot of those things are normally just based on creating that the skill or that Gen AI or only that use case. But now you can just bring your own thoughts, your own ideas to the table. We will build that, and then you really can see what it will bring to you as a customer, and that makes it so much more valuable. And well, of course, we will win. That's another discussion.
Thank you. So you will find the registration link and all supporting materials in the comments below this video. Keep in mind that spots are limited, so get your team and secure your spot today. We will also organize one or two further webinars around the topic of implementing Agentic AI, specifically in ServiceNow. Thank you, Mel and Luke, and to all of you out there, thank you for being with us. Now, let's turn that vision of Agentic AI into some tangible outcomes. See you at the hackathon.